Shalom, shalom, shalom. Once again, it's your brother here, Ezra ben Khazar the Hebrew, also known as Yahoo Israel, messianic hip-hop artist. Check out some of my music at ezayahoo.bandcamp.com. But today and on this channel, we focus on studies on the Khazarian Empire and the history and genetics of the Khazarian people. And we also study the different branches of Judaism here. Today we have an exciting video for you as we will be digging into the genetic origins of the royal house of the Kabars, the house of Abba. Now for those of you who do not know, the house of Abba is a clan that ruled the splinter Khazarians. There was a group of Khazarians who splintered off of the Khazarian Empire and moved with the Magyars and together created the nation that we now know as Hungary. This is also the history of my particular ancestors according to what I've seen in the records. In a future video, I'll give more information on the Kabars, why I believe they rebelled, why I believe they joined the Magyars, and why I believe them together with the Magyars went into Hungary. But today we will focus on the royal house of Abba. This information was brought to us by a fairly recent paper. Archaeogenetic analysis revealed East Eurasian paternal origin to the Abba royal family of Hungary. And let's read the abstract. The Abba family played a pivotal role in the early history of medieval Hungary, dominating extensive territories and giving rise to influential figures. We conducted an archaeogenetic examination of remains uncovered at the necropolis in Abasár, the political center of the Abba clan, to identify Abba family members and shed light on their genetic origins, utilizing whole genome sequencing data from 19 individuals, complemented by radiocarbon measurements. We identified 6 members of the Abba family who showed close kinship relations. Our analysis revealed that 4 males from this family carried identical N1A, 1A, 1A, 1A4 haplogroups. Significantly, our phylogenetic investigation traced this royal paternal lineage back to Mongolia, strongly suggesting its migration to the Carpathian Basin with the conquering Hungarians. Genome analysis incorporating admixture, principal component analysis, and QP-ADEM revealed East Eurasian patterns in the studied genomes, consistent with our phylogenetic results. Shared identity by descent analysis confirmed the family kinship relations and shed light on further external kinship relations. It revealed that the members of the Abba family were related to members of prominent Hungarian medieval noble families, the Arpads, the Bathories, and the Corvinius, as well as to the first generation immigrant elite of the Hungarian conquest. So we see that this study is examining remains that were uncovered in a city called Abasár. This was the political center of the Abba clan. I have read that in the 19th and the 20th centuries, there were only few Jews who lived in this village. Most of them were murdered in the Holocaust. A Benedictine monastery here belonged to the Abba family, and according to the tradition, this monastery was founded by King Samuel Abba in 1042, and he was buried here. So we see the haplogroup that they had was N1A, 1A, 1A, 1A4. Findings from past research, we've read that 2 conquerors belong to this same haplogroup, this N1A-M2118. This is also the wide lineage of nearly all Yakut males, being also frequent in Evenix, and occurring with low frequency among Khanty, Mansi, and the Kazakhs. Another fascinating find confirming that the royal house of Aba and the Kabars come from the Khazar Empire is that N1A, this same branch, is found in Khazar sample 1566. As we see here, he has very strong Asian autosomal elements, and he's described as purely Siberian. As we see in the records, his nearest modern sample is indeed the Yakut, and his nearest ancient sample is the Paziric culture, which we constantly mention is the Saka Scythian origin of the Khazars. I would also like to show you here that Khazar sample 1564 is very close to the Levant, but that's off topic. Also called the Yakut, but better known as the Saka, are an ethnic group that live in Russia and a place called the Sakha Republic. Their major religion right now is the Russian Orthodox Church, but some of them also practice shamanism. Sakha is a language that's a part of the Turkic language family. And as we see here, this is the overall distribution of the Sakha haplogroup that the House of Aba carried. We see as present in Estonia, China, Korea, Turkey, Croatia, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and the Sakha Republic. Bulgaria as well. An interesting thing that we'll see here is that one of the Hungarian samples is in the city of Sopron. Sopron is actually where I have found my family to come from. In the records that we will soon be reading on this channel, my family hails from the land of Sopron. And we also see that the royal house of Aba has descendants in Sopron. In another study where they went into this certain haplogroup, trying to identify the origin of it, I believe this was before the House of Aba paper even came out. They were looking at these haplogroups, and this is what we read. Both Hungarians, the Hungarians that have this haplogroup, are from neighboring countries and very northeast of Hungary, and descend from a man who lived 300 AD. One of them has a more closer relative in Hatay, Turkey, who split in 900 AD. The other one has a closer Croatian relative who split at 700 AD. And these clusters split from a Chinese basal sample in 1800 BC. That PH 1612 entered Hungary with the Magyar invasion, but as Turkic allies. I don't know how reliable the source is, but the Magyar tribe article states that 3 Turkic tribes rebelled against the Khagan and joined the Het Magyar as the Kabar, making it 10 tribes. Given this condition, the Turkish and Chinese samples assume Turkish roots and require no linguistic conversion event. The Croatian will have more likely descended from one of the Kabars that invaded Hungary, but could also have been a Turk in Croatia. So let's look more into the Sakha Yakut people. We read that they are also known as the Kuryakans, and they were a Tele people. The Tele people emerged after the disintegration of the Confederacy of the Xiongnu, the original Huns, the same origin as Attila, and the horde that's called the Sabirs, the North Caucasian Huns, who I believe are the Kabars. This study revealed also that the members of the Aba family were related to other prominent medieval noble families, such as the Arpads, the Bathroys, and the Corvinians. Well, we know that Attila's sons, Ed and Edomian, are the progenitors of the clan of the Aba Kabars. And this in line in the Kabar house of Pota descend from Ed and Edomian's sister's husband. And that would be the Jewish branch that is found today in the Satmar area, and the line of possible line of Rabbi Yitzhak Hassangari. Ed and Edomian were the sons of Kasaba, who was the legendary son of Attila, the Grand King of Huns, according to medieval Hungarian historical tradition. The Illuminated Chronicle was the first to claim that the Abas and the Arpads would have had a direct common ancestor. Attila's son, Saba. It's more complicated, as we've seen previously that the house of Arpad is R1A Z93, more specifically RSUR 51 branch. So the Abas must have established a kin relationship with the Arpad dynasty through marriage. Either Samuel Abba married Saint Stephan's sister, or Samuel was the king's sister's son, so nephew in that case. Samuel Abba later ascended to the throne as the third monarch of the Kingdom of Hungary, who ruled from 1041 to 1044, becoming the country's first elected king. He headed the Kabar tribes, and they joined the Hungarians in the conquest. There is also a small possibility that he could have been a Messianic Jew, considering the Hungarians' conversion to Christianity. Unfortunately, he met his demise in the Battle of Menfo in 1044, where he confronted the claimant Peter, who was supported by the German monarch Heinrich III. King Samuel's body was laid to rest in the Abasár church. The 11th and 12th centuries lack information about the family, but from the 13th century onwards, their names appear regularly in written sources. By this time, the clan has splintered into dozens of families, some of which possess extensive territories within the kingdom. They wielded significant political influence as dignitaries and even oligarchs during the 13th to 15th centuries. In later centuries, the main Abasár monastery and its domains became the subject of numerous ownership disputes. In between 2020 and 2022, the Department of Archaeology at the Institute of Hungarian Research conducted excavations at the Abasár site in northern Hungary and unveiled the remains. It featured carved depictions of the family's coat of arms, and the inscription on the border of the cover stone revealed that Janos and Michali, two individuals from the Abba clan, were laid to rest there during the early years of the 15th century. It's not exactly clear what branch of the Abba family they belonged to, but we know that they were well enough related to be buried in the monastery. 10 Abba Kabars dated from the site from the period ranging from the 12th to the 15th century, 3 notable individuals from the late 13th century to the end of the 14th century. The 5 males in the extended Abba family, 4 carried the identical N1A branch, as we've spoken about. That branch splits into eastern and western branches. As previously mentioned, 2 elite conquering Hungarians, along with an unpublished elite Xiongnu from Mongolia, also shared this haplogroup, as we see here in this graph. It traces back to the Mongolian individual from the late Bronze Age Slav grave culture. It exhibits the highest prevalence among the Yakut males, and this indicates its strong inner Asian origin. In addition to the individuals that belong to the N1A branch, we also found different I branches, other R1A branches, and R1B individuals as well. A single individual from R1A Z280 in the clades of CTS 1211. R1A Z2125 was found, which is a Khazaric sample and probably a relation of the Arpad dynasty. Here, the genomes of an autosomal relation are roughly around 38 to 45% European Neolithic farmer, 3 to 5% to 13% early Bronze Age Western Eurasian, 29 to 39% ancient North Eurasian, 0 to 9% Iranian Neolithic, 0 to 3 to 5% Xi, 6 to 11% Western hunter-gatherer, and 0 to 3 to 5% Naganasan. Similar genome composition pattern between the Abasár group and the Germanic populations from early medieval Germany and Slovakia. Additionally, Hungarian samples from the commoner villages in the conquering period are also similar. So the Aba family is shifted in the direction of the conquering Hungarians, while some fall with present-day Hungarians. The Abasár cluster overlaps with the Arpad dynasty, and as well as two Batharoids. The Anapa samples were also used for this paper to see how close they were to the Abasár samples. And basically it showed the difference between the Caucasian and the Asian. And I also want to note that they were unable to find exactly which tomb was Samuel Aba's, but it seems most likely that he would have had the N1A haplogroup. So I hope you enjoyed this informative video on the House of Aba clan's DNA, the royal house of the Kabar Khazars. And until next time, grace and peace. Please like, comment, and subscribe. In the name of the Messiah Yeshua, Shalom.